Rodney Harrison just sat down. We're already arguing. Why is it we're always arguing?
We're not
Ron?
always arguing.
It seems like it. You always want to pick a fight with
You're
me.
always right.
No, I'm not always right.
Is he always right, fellas?
No. This is kind of like, pardon the interruption.
But how are you going to ask him if
McLovin?
he regrets getting married? Of course, he's not. Of course, he regrets getting married.
I know. I just wanted McLovin to be honest with me. That's all.
Yeah, just be honest for once in your life.
Yeah,
man.
McLovin, be honest with Rodney.
Rodney, I outkicked my coverage very well.
I agree with that. You got a great wife.
I don't care how beautiful your wife is. From what Dan told me, I still believe that you have a little regret.
Because you get a little bit of notoriety.
Only regret I have is just not marrying my wife earlier.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. You're a veteran maneuver there. We were talking about hip-hop, and so I don't have any hip-hop CDs over there on the table.
Very disappointed.
Well, okay. Well, I'll bring in some then.
You told me you would listen. You asked me if I listened to Jay-Z. I said, yeah, the edited version. And you said Biggie Smalls, but you wanted raw and hardcore.
But I would listen to it in its context, though.
But it's so
I don't like the language, but that's why we listen to
What attracts you to Biggie Smalls? Is it the music? Is it the words?
the way he raps.
Flow?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I don't think there's anybody better than Biggie Smalls with flow.
He's great. Tupac was great.
Not
Jay-Z
as good
was
as
great.
Tupac was a celebrity.
Tupac had rhymes. I mean, if you listen to his lyrics, he could take you in depth. That brother was so deep, so smart, just made some bad mistakes.
Oh, yeah. But so did Biggie.
Yeah.
First concert you went to?
Was it Janet Jackson? I think she was in San Diego.
Really?
It was unbelievable.
So you're with the Chargers?
Yeah.
Did you have a crush on Janet Jackson?
My wife always teases me because she was okay back in the day, but.
Miss Jackson, if you're nasty.
Stop it.
Sorry.
Now he's making me feel uncomfortable. This is getting kind of weird right now, Dan.
Yeah. Hey, go for the water bottle there, making him uncomfortable.
I can still walk out, can't I?
You can. At halftime, you said, having played for Belichick, that he would go in and say, all right, guys, you know what? We got second half. Let's just score. We get the ball. Start second half. Did you ever, would he ever raise his voice? Was there ever a situation where Belichick wasn't that calming influence there in the locker room?
Of course. It was times he would come in, yell, scream, and get in our butts, but that wasn't the appropriate time yesterday. You're down 24 points, and obviously, you had some turnovers. It wasn't like the Broncos were just driving the ball up and down the field on you. They had some success running the ball, but that's part of that bend but don't break mentality. And when you look at it, I think he went to Tom and said, look, all we need to do is score. We can stop these guys in the second half. They haven't done anything great. If you look at Peyton Manning's stats, he wasn't great. He was just average, if at best. So I think the defense played a lot better in the second half, forced a turnover. They started, just playing better defense against Peyton. I think, after a while, you look and then all of a sudden, does Peyton have that here we go again mentality when it comes to facing Brady and Belichick?
Okay, is it just a coincidence, though? Manning in cold weather.
It's not. We knew that in cold weather with the wind, that if you can keep it close in those conditions, beat up the receivers, put a little pressure on Peyton, he would be a different quarterback. We knew that.
Now, Belichick will always take away your best weapon. What you do well, he'll take that or try to diminish. Did he say, we're going to let you run the ball as much as you want, but we're not going to let you beat us through the air? Was that Bill's game plan?
Against Indianapolis, it was, because we knew they had a lot of different weapons on the offense side of the ball. We knew they can move the ball up and down the field.
But was that the game plan last night?
It was. It was just basically, hey, we're going to play a four-man box. I know you're going to probably have success running the football, but you're not going to throw the ball for 400 yards against us. And when we get down to red zone, we're going to try to hold you to field goals.
How surprised are you that the Patriots won?
I really wasn't surprised, to be honest with you.
Oh, come on. It's 24-0. You're playing the Broncos?
I really wasn't surprised. Did I look surprised at halftime?
No, you look sad.
I was sad. Of course I was sad. But, I just felt like, Dan, once they came back in the third quarter, if they were able to score, that defense could make a stop. Then if they could score again, then they're down, 10 points, and they had an opportunity to win. I knew that the Patriots would make a run. I still believe in Brady. Brady is a great quarterback.
I asked Tony Dungy last hour, is there anything Brady could do the rest of his career where Tony would admit Brady is a better quarterback?
Never, never. He is, first of all, he doesn't want to ruin his relationship with Peyton Manning. But I think if you look at both of their careers and everyone's giving Peyton Manning grief over the fact that he only has one Super Bowl, I think the one caveat to that is he never had the defense that Tom Brady had. I mean, obviously, Tom never had the weapons that he had except in 2007, but he never really had that complete team. If Peyton Manning was on our team, I think Peyton Manning would have 3 Super Bowls. That's how good I think he is.
Well, I think, the thing with Brady is that your defense, when you guys won Super Bowls, probably doesn't get enough credit because it came down to Brady and Vinatieri.
Yes.
And do you ever feel shortchanged? Because you guys had a great defense.
Not at all, Dan. I mean, I'm just one of those guys that I wanted to fit in, and most guys, Teddy Bruschi, Willie McGinnis, and all those guys, Mike Vrabel, we didn't really care about individual stats. We didn't care if Brady got the credit, Vinatieri. We just wanted to do our job, and I think that was the special thing about our team. We never cared about who got the credit. It was just guys coming together, and we knew if we all played well, there wasn't many teams that could beat us.
He's Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America joining us, Dan Patrick Show. But you bring up an interesting point where other players looking at the quarterback. Quarterback's making $100 million now. You look at the Cowboys looking at Romo, or the Ravens looking at Joe Flacco, the Steelers looking at Roethlisberger. And with Brady, as we're seeing with RG3, now you got some guys looking at RG3 saying, wait a minute, are you RG me? Now it's all about you. And it's really a delicate balance where the quarterback tries to be one of the guys. But how did Brady do that, where he was one of the guys where you didn't look at him and say, oh, pretty boy, dating the model, the endorsements, the whole thing?
Well, I think Tom was just his approach each and every day. He never, the one thing that I'm frustrated about when I look at Washington's situation is RG3, he's a young quarterback. He's trying to find his way in this league, had a lot of success early, but he's always given the state of the union as far as the entire team and what's going on. He just needs to stop talking so much in the media. If you look at Tom Brady and the way he handles the media, he's always positive. He's always complimentary of his guys, and he doesn't make it about himself. And I think that's the thing that RG3 needs to do. And we have a great media public relations department that help guys with the media, and that's why the Patriots really don't have those issues with the guys in the media. RG3, he just needs to be quiet and just play football. I mean, when you play football, you win football games and you play well, it handles everything.
But are you told, it seems like you're programmed when you guys talk to the media?
Yes, we are. We're programmed. No question about it. Belichick says, hey, guys, don't answer questions about injuries. Don't talk about other guys. If you have anything to say something positive and keep it moving. Talk about one game at a time. That's why you hear all those different cliches. One game at a time. Just keep working hard. And that's what happens. You get to a point where you become so boring, the media becomes disinterested in you, and they try to create issues that aren't there.
Do you get a list of cliches when you're with the Patriots?
You know what, Dan? It was hard for me because I'm a very kind of honest type guy, and I kind of always spoke from the heart. And the one thing I never did was I was never critical of my teammates. If anything, I was critical of myself or maybe even other guys around the league, with my run-ins with T.O. and some other guys, Kerry Rhodes. But I just think for the most part, it's all in the way. It's almost like these coaches are afraid to tell RG3, like, this is how you need to handle the situation. How can a player become bigger than a coach? I don't understand it.
Well, that's why Wes Welker, when he had his press conference making fun of Rex Ryan, that had to just drive Bill Belichick crazy.
It is, because he wants no part of that. It becomes a distraction. Now all the other players have to answer questions about Wes Welker and his antics, and I think he did the right thing when he what did he do? Bench him? He benched him.
Yeah,
he did.
Like for the first half of a game or
Right.
something like that. All right, when we come back, we'll continue with Rodney Harrison. This is music, Rodney. This is Led Zeppelin. Did you ever listen to Led Zeppelin growing up?
Locker room.
Locker room?
Yeah, some guys from like Utah and Oregon, they listened to him.
Who ran the music in the Patriots locker room?
Sayal. And he would always listen to like Hawaiian music from Fiji. So,
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, why is Junior
It's the same song over and over and over and over again. I hated that song. I mean, like when you first hear it, it's
Yeah.
a catchy tune,
Yeah.
but after that, it just gets irritating.
He's Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America. Played with the Chargers and the Patriots. Joining us in studio here. We'll get to your phone calls, best and worst of the weekend. Tonight, the NHL and NBCSN matchup between two of the league's hotter teams. It's the Minnesota Wild traveling to St. Louis to face the Blues. Coverage begins tonight, 7 Eastern, NHL on NBCSN. Let's see. Where do we start?
You talked about the Cowboys, didn't you?
I did talk about the Cowboys, but, Cowboy fans always bang on me when they win and Romo does something well. Tony Romo's paid to do things well. When he does something above and beyond that, then I will credit him. So Tony Romo had
in your opinion, what is above and beyond? You talk about
Playoffs.
Playoffs?
Playoffs, that's
I
all.
agree.
That's all. They should be a playoff team.
Yeah, it's like they get so excited, and I've always been a fan of Tony Romo's. They get so excited about Tony Romo winning a game like yesterday, but when you pay a guy $100 million, you expect him to win games like this. That's why you paid him that type of money. But the next level for Tony Romo is not just getting in the playoffs, but winning playoffs games, eventually getting to an NFC championship.
But are they good enough, Rodney, defensively?
No, they're not. They're not good enough defensively.
it's the-
Even if they're healthy enough, Dan, I mean, they have the weapons on the offensive side of the ball, but that defense still scares me.
But they have either the wrong defensive coordinator or the wrong talent for that defensive coordinator with Dallas. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I think they initially tried that cover 2 scheme, which offenses picked them apart. But then what we saw against the Giants, they did a better job of kind of readjusting that defense. I think Jason Garrett said they tried to play more man-to-man coverage, and that's what Carr is. That's what those guys are, man-to-man coverage type guys, and they did a good job against the Giants.
Well, there's certain guys that were there quarterbacks you wanted to have the ball with the game on the line?
Of course.
Like who?
Peyton.
You did.
I did. We weren't afraid of Peyton. We figured
Who else did you think, I'm not worried?
pretty much any other guy that we played against. I never really worried about anybody. John Elway I worried about.
But Peyton you thought would make a mistake?
We felt like he can make a mistake. We just felt like we had so many great players across the board. We didn't have to really blitz. We could kind of play that bend but don't break defense. We had good corners. We had great linebackers, a very smart team. We didn't care if he moved the ball up and down the field. We felt like eventually he was going to make that key mistake.
Well, would you guys force it or would he just make it on his own?
We made plays, Dan, and that's what it came down to, whether it was the pressure in the pocket by Richard Seymour, me making an interception, Ty Law picking him off 2 or 3 times in a game, just making those key plays. We had such smart players, and all these general managers, they want to draft these young athletic guys, but what happened to those cagey veterans that are smart, that know exactly where to be, may not have the speed, but have the instincts to get there, and guys that are so consistent?
You buying into Carolina?
Yeah, and what I saw yesterday, I saw a team coming off a short week and really showed me a lot of growth and maturity. Last year, they would have lost that game. But Cam Newton, he didn't play particularly well, Dan, but you saw him make some really key plays on third down with his legs, with his arm. We saw the same thing against the Patriots and a team that with a really good defense. This team is for real.
You had another play yesterday with Luke Kuechly, and this time it looked like a helmet-to-helmet in the end zone.
Yeah, I thought it was a helmet-to-helmet hit, and it's just unfortunate. You saw the officials pick up the flag last week, and for the life of me, Dan, I don't understand when an official makes a call. Obviously, you're the back judge. You see something. Now, all of a sudden, you get all your buddies coming in. They change your mind. Well, what caused you to make that flag in the first place? You get paid to do a job, and then he picks it up. But I
think, Rodney, they throw them now, and then they know they have the ability to pick it up.
Yeah.
So they err on the side of, I'll throw the flag instead of not throwing anything. Then you can't call anything. You can't throw the flag after the fact.
Yeah, I don't like that because it almost protects the official, and it almost makes the official anticipate. You don't get the benefit of doubt as a defender. They almost anticipate that you're going to do something wrong. So now they can throw it and they can easily pick it back up.
Niners-Redskins coming up tonight with these two quarterbacks. Redskins. If I said you can have the future, Kaepernick or RG3 from now on, who do you want?
You're talking about the RG3 that's hurt and
the guy right now you're seeing.
I'm taking RG3 still. I know his attitude. I know, there are hints of selfishness there, but I really believe he's such a smart quarterback. I believe with a couple more years of maturity, I think he can grow into a really great quarterback. And I think if you change the offensive system and allow him to be a pocket passer, but give him the option of being able to run and do different things. I just think that there's a lot of confusion in Washington right now. He's bumping heads with Mike Shanahan, and I don't think they're on the same page.
So Kaepernick is not going to get your vote, huh?
He's a great athlete. I think once they get some weapons back, Crabtree, that downfield threat, I think just the lack of having those explosive weapons really, it's affecting them, that offensive line. They're not the same, and that defense, I think they're solid, but they're not one of the best.
If I said Steelers, Ravens, better chance making the playoffs.
Steelers, Raven, Pittsburgh, they're playing better, but I still, for something, just when I look at that defense, when I look at those pass rushers, Joe Flacco, I think they can get Ray Rice going eventually. Just all he needs is just a little bit of a crease, and he can become a factor. But that running game concerns me. I'm taking the experience. I just think that defense on the Pittsburgh side, I think they're too slow, and I don't think they're good enough.
I know Polamalu still makes plays.
Yes.
But he gives up big plays.
Yes.
Do quarterbacks now, offensive coordinators, take advantage of Polamalu?
I think, with Troy's a great player. I think in that defensive scheme, a lot of times his mistakes are covered up and I think you see him getting more exploited now because before he had all those great players, James Harrison, Ferrier, he had all those guys in their prime, so he can do whatever he wants. He can jump over a pile. He can blow a coverage. Those guys were so good they can cover him. But now I think, he had a phenomenal game yesterday, but I think now when we went in to play Polamalu, we knew how aggressive he was, so we always wanted to go at Troy and test his discipline in the defense, and we would always have success against him.
Hall of Famer?
Oh, no question. Yeah. No question. I just think, I think the thing with Troy is he has so much freedom in that defense. So a lot of times he get beat by, a tight end or a wide receiver. He'll come back and he'll jump over the pile. He'll make a great play, so everyone forgets about sometimes his mistakes. But I think he's definitely a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, similar to how Junior Seau played. He freelanced, and everybody else sort of had to fill in for what Junior was going to do.
You're telling me it's third down and 21, and he thinks it's a draw play. He goes and bites up on the run, and his guy gets a first down. Unbelievable.
Rodney, good to see you, buddy. I'll see you on Thanksgiving.
Thanks for having me.
Rodney Harrison from Football Night in America.
The Dan Patrick Show, weekday mornings on Audience.